Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. We begin tonight in Alberta, where the RCMP took part in a Red Dress Day on the Stoney Nakoda First Nation. It was to help build a better community and police relationships. Tamara Pimentel has the story.
It's a small gathering, but a meaningful one for MMIW families on the Stoney Nakoda Nation. Dresses are hung and photos of the missing and murdered are placed outside of the community's RCMP detachment for Red Dress Day.
We want to work with the detachment on doing this because it's a way to start doing reconciliation about the epidemic, the genocide of our missing and murdered Indigenous people.
Teresa Snow helped organize the event here to begin building bridges between the nation and RCMP.
We know we haven't had a really good history with the Redcoats, and a lot of that has been miscommunication, misinterpretation, non-Indigenous kinship perspective of our ways. And so when we work together and start to have that dialogue, we can have better communication. And that it also works in the calls to action. One of the main things for the calls to action is police reform or Indigenous training and sensitivity for the issues.
Red ribbon skirts were made and gifted to families of women like Keisha Crawler, who was found deceased in the community this past April, and Glynis Fox and Tiffany Ear, who were killed near Calgary in 2017. Snow says this event brings more awareness to the lack of support for Stoney members.
This is a way to honor our missing and murdered Indigenous people, because a lot maybe isn't being done in the community right now because of the pandemic, and there isn't a lot of resources in the community. We want to take the time to honor our people and let them know that we haven't forgotten them and that we're going to keep working and honoring them and remembering them.
Tamara Pimentel, APTN National News on the Stoney Nakoda Nation.
The morning after the National Day of Awareness, many Instagram users woke up to confusion and anger after finding posts honoring families and survivors were removed from the platform. A number of First Nations, Métis and Inuit folks took to social media to question Instagram on why content relating to the day was removed from the platform. Many criticized the move, saying it was silencing Indigenous women and girls. Laura Brand, a Métis advocate, says it also caused further harm.
I know that a lot of people are really hurting today. Yesterday was very emotional, very hard for a lot of people for different reasons. We were raising awareness, and many were mourning the loss of our kin, and that work was all taken down, completely erased, just like further contributing to the erasure of Indigenous women and Indigenous people.
In a statement to APTN, Instagram said the removals were related to a, quote, global technical issue and not related to the National Day of Awareness of MMIWG or Red Dress Day. They added, "We want to allow people to come together and share with one another, and it was never our intention to limit the voices of the Indigenous community." We'll have more on the Day of Awareness later in the show. New information has come out about how an Indigenous inmate could have died in a Manitoba corrections facility after an altercation with correctional officers in February. According to media reports, the incident started after racist remarks made by a guard. Daryl Stranger has that story.
William Walter Amo, an inmate at the Headingley Correctional Centre in Manitoba, died Sunday, February 14th, a week after an incident with correctional officers left him in hospital. Details surrounding his death were scarce until now. According to a media report, Corey Sheffman, a lawyer working with the Amo family, said the incident that left him in hospital was due to racist remarks made by a guard. The media report also states a serious incident response team was called into the unit and threw stun grenades despite there not being a riot. Sheffman said the family wants charges laid against the guards, but they're not getting their hopes up.
The family has been clear that in their view and in my view, charges should be laid against the guards who did this to Will, and we hope that the results of the criminal investigation by the RCMP reveal that. We don't have a whole lot of confidence that they will. because charges against guards in Manitoba are almost unheard of, much like charges against police.
75% of all inmates in Manitoba jails are Indigenous, and Sheffman says the family hopes the details of William's death are released to the public to ensure this doesn't happen again.
You know, more than one person has died in Manitoba jails each month this year. It's disproportionately affecting Indigenous people. And so we think that revealing what happened to the public is very important.
Manitoba Justice, which oversees the correctional facility, provided APTN the following statement. We cannot provide comment as this matter is under active investigation by the RCMP. There is no update to the internal investigation at this time. Manitoba RCMP said the investigation is still ongoing. The RCMP cautions against premature conclusions being drawn before this investigation is complete. Speculation at this point is a disservice to all involved. This is a large and comprehensive investigation with significant pieces of evidence still outstanding. Southern Chiefs Organization Grand Chief Jerry Daniels believes those guards involved need to be fired at the very least.
This is murder, in my view, when you're violently altercation and you've killed a person who was it your responsibility to look after. I think that's and I think that's the only outcome that should be happening here.
It is unclear when the investigation will conclude, but Sheffman expects an inquest to be called into the death at some point. Daryl Stranger, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
To the West Coast now, where advocates and family members of murdered and missing women and girls in Vancouver held memorials across the city. And as APTN's Tina House explains, the city itself also took part in remembering those we've lost.
It was a day to remember and honor lost loved ones, as over a dozen family members and advocates shut down Cambie Street in Vancouver.
Canada needs to step up and seek justice for Indigenous people and Indigenous women. When I say no more, you say stolen sisters, no more. Stolen sisters. No more. Stolen sisters. No more.
Banners were dropped from the Cambie Street Bridge to help raise awareness. These pictures represent daughters, sisters, mothers, nieces, aunts, and friends. At City Hall, over 100 people were there, including elementary school kids, who helped sing the Women's Warrior Song. As red dresses hung in the trees, symbolizing the thousands of murdered and missing women and girls across Canada. Even the statue of Captain Vancouver was utilized to spread the message. Sheila Poorman's 25-year-old daughter, Chelsea Poorman, went missing September the 7th, 2020, after going out with her sister for a night on the town in downtown Vancouver. They got separated, and the last thing Chelsea told her sister on the phone was that she met a new bae. Then her phone was turned off. She hasn't been heard from since.
I made the missing persons report September 8th. The Vancouver Police Department did not put her in the media until about 10 days later. They did not check the video surveillance of the cameras in that area, which was so discouraging because they lost a lot of time and they lost a lot of footage that could have helped.
The Butterflies in Spirit dance group is wearing the picture of 45-year-old April Parisian. She went missing in April of 2020 near Spuzzum, BC. Police believe she may have met with foul play and has not been found. The entire dance group has a missing or murdered family member.
I danced to honor my aunt, Iris Frank. She was taken from us in 1980. And I also danced to honor my son. His name is Ethan Frank Blackford. He has an aunt named Lisa Marie Young. She went missing June 30th, 2002.
As the event came to a close, everyone here is praying for answers as to what happened to their murdered or missing loved one, and will justice finally prevail. The city of Vancouver lit up City Hall and the Burrard Street Bridge in red to honor those that have been lost or murdered. Tina House, APTN National News, Vancouver.
Emotional ceremonies there. First Nation in the Yukon is demanding the MLA for their region resign. It's after he sent in inappropriate text messages to a group chat. Last week, Yukon Party MLAs Stacey Hassard and Wade Ishchenchenko texted sexually crude remarks about Liberal leader Sandy Silver, NDP leader Kate White, and their own leader, Curry Dixon. Dixon has since banned Hansard and Ishchenko from sitting on any legislative committees or serving as critics for the party's shadow cabinet. Now White River First Nation, which is in Ishchenko's MLA riding, says they'll no longer work with him. They're also calling for his resignation.
If they're doing this to their colleagues, are they doing it to any other community, any other businesses, any other First Nations? It kind of adds on to, if they're doing it to them, who else are they doing it to?
The Council of Yukon First Nations and the Assembly of First Nations Yukon Region are also calling for stricter consequences for the two MLAs, like suspension from Session 35 of the Assembly without pay. Time now for a quick break. Still to come, vaccinating the youth. Stay with us. Welcome back. This week, Health Canada approved the Pfizer COVID vaccines for children as young as 12. Alberta is the first province after the Northwest Territories to begin giving shots to children. Beginning today, 30-year-olds are eligible, and on Monday, children 12 years old and over can begin receiving the Pfizer vaccine across Alberta. British Columbia, Saskatchewan, Ontario, and Nova Scotia all have plans announced to vaccinate 12-year-olds and over in the coming weeks and months.
With this, another 1.3 million Albertans are now eligible for the vaccine. Outside of the Northern Territories, Alberta is the first province to offer vaccine to everybody 12 years of age and older, no matter where they live or what medical conditions they might have. Iqaluit's COVID outbreak continues to worsen. There are now 86 active cases, COVID-19 cases in Nunavut. 84 of them are in Iqaluit. 10 of the active cases are in Nunavut's biggest prison, the Baffin Correctional Center. 30 of those cases are youth 18 or younger. So far, 3 people have had to fly to Ottawa for COVID treatment, and there have been no deaths. Why are the rates continuing to go up? Nunavut's chief public health officer says people are ignoring the rules.
Visiting and social gatherings are the main causes of spread in Iqaluit right now. These activities put people at risk and will extend the outbreak if they continue. Gatherings of individuals from different households can expose everyone at the gathering and everyone they live with to COVID-19. We are asking that anyone who has attended a house party in the last 3 weeks contacts the hotline and requests swabbing.
Good news in the Yukon concerning COVID-19. As of May 25th, people entering the territory will no longer have to self-isolate for 14 days, as long as they can prove they've been vaccinated. The relaxation of rules has been made possible due to high vaccine uptake in the territory. The Yukon is still working on the process of how they will identify whether someone has been vaccinated. Native Counselling Services of Alberta has been making a card for people to read, letting police know that they know their rights. They've been doing it for a decade, and now they've revamped the cards. And as Chris Stewart explains, they're already a hit.
Interactions with the police can be a traumatic experience. Even a traffic stop can cause fear and anxiety. A decade ago, the Native Counselling Services of Alberta developed a wallet-sized card that you can read to police to tell them your rights. Now the latest version of their Statement to Police card is available to download for free or donation, or order online and just pay for shipping. Dana Crosby is with the Native Counselling Services of Alberta. She says the latest card is popular, not just with the Indigenous population, but with non-Indigenous people as well. Everyone in the country has the same rights.
It's just a lot simpler in the wording. We did revamp the actual statement that people can read to the police if they want to invoke their rights while speaking to them.
The card reads, "Officer, please tell me if I am under arrest, or if I am being detained, or if I am free to leave. If I am not free to leave, please tell me why. I wish to exercise all of my rights now. I will not answer any questions until you let me speak to a lawyer. Please do not ask me any other questions. I do not consent to any search unless I am under arrest." Another card offered lists the rights everyone has, such as being able to leave if you are not detained or arrested by police. Cynthia Arkand works closely with clients.
The language on the cards, it helps clients feel safe. And I think when you look at both parties, there's a shared, mutual responsibility when the clients present the cards. Our hope is that this card lessens the negative interaction.
Dana Crosby says the Edmonton Police Service support the card.
We're really happy about that. And Edmonton Police Service is doing their own internal education with their members about the card as well, so that officers are aware that they're going to see it out in the community, and to remind them also that they have a legal obligation to uphold people's rights.
Cynthia Arkand says the card helps. She spoke to a woman this week who had an encounter with police.
For her, it did lessen the interaction she had with police. A conversation took place. She wasn't afraid to be vocal about her rights. And again, it created a lighter tension, I guess, with the interaction.
The cards can be ordered or downloaded online at bearpawlegalresources.ca. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
Time for another quick break, but still to come, a preview of tomorrow night's episode of APTN Investigates, and we'll check in and see what Todd's got coming up on Nation to Nation. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. While enjoying the wonderful weather, our viewer Franny Paul sent us this photo from Riding Mountain National Park, located just south of Dauphin, Manitoba. Be sure to take some time to send us your great photos to share at aptn.ca, and you might be featured as our next photo of the day. Time now to take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Starting on the east coast, +5 with showers for St. John's, partly cloudy and 12 in Halifax, 2 in Inukjuak, 7 in Kuujjuaq, 16 and sunny in Montreal, 12 in Chibougamau, 7 with showers for Sault Ste. Marie, a chance of snow, and 12 in North Bay, 10 for Thunder Bay, 9 with a chance of snow in Sioux Lookout, 5 in God's Lake, 8 for Norway House and Thompson, 12 and sunny for Winnipeg and Dauphin, 14 in Brandon, 15 for Regina and North Battleford, 9 in Uranium City, 14 for Meadow Lake. Over in northern Alberta, 13 for Fort Chip and Fort McMurray. 16 with showers for Medicine Hat and Edmonton. 14 with rain in Vancouver and Kamloops. 10 with showers in Prince George, 6 with flurries in Dease Lake. +1 with snow in Old Crow, 13 in Whitehorse. 13 and sunny in Yellowknife, 16 with showers in Norman Wells, -6 in Saxe Harbor, +1 with snow for Pawlatuck. -1 in Chesterfield, Whale Cove, and Baker Lake. -11 for Resolute, 2 below in Igloo Lake. Canada has over 600 First Nation communities or reserves, and not all of them are governed by the same rules. Tomorrow on APTN Investigates, John Murray visits one community with concerns about lack of accountability. And experts tell us the problems lie in an imposed governance structure of the Indian Act.
The Ministiquin Lake Cree Nation is a small reserve 340 kilometers northwest of Saskatoon, home to just under 1,000 band members. Elder Matilda Lewis gives APTN a tour. Oh my, you can smell the mold, eh? In one of the buildings, there's a strong odor of mildew, even in the cold of winter.
It's really disappointing, it's really frustrating.
APTN was introduced to Lewis by Lisa Crookedneck, who stays in close contact with people back home.
The strongest thing in that community was family. It was so family-oriented. There was unity. People visited back then. People didn't fight. We had games. We had picnics. Like family get-togethers. Like the whole community would participate. Today, there's nothing.
The first teachings, obedience, respect, humility.
Lisa Crookedneck works in Fort McMurray, Alberta, but has fond memories of growing up in Ministiquin.
When they're 10 years old, and now...
It breaks my heart to think about back home right now.
You can watch for Trust or Profit Part 1 tomorrow night on APTN Investigates right after the news. Well, it's Thursday, so that means Nation to Nation will be immediately following us here on the news. Here's host Todd Lamoran with the preview.
It is, of course, the day after Red Dress Day, and next month will be the second anniversary since the report on missing and murdered women and girls was handed to Prime Minister Trudeau, with the promise from the feds that an action plan would be expected a year later. So in just a few minutes, I'll be speaking to the former Chief Commissioner of the MMIWG Inquiry, Marion Buller. For one, she doesn't buy the excuse that the COVID pandemic is to blame for the action plan's delay. As well, I have a great conversation with an Anishinaabe woman from northwestern Ontario. She has lit a sacred fire and won't put it out until her community deals with an epidemic of sexual violence. That's coming up very soon. I'll see you then.
Looks good, Todd. Looking forward to seeing what Commissioner Buller has to say. Todd is up in less than 2 minutes' time. That is all the time we have for your APTN National News for this Thursday. For news anytime, you can visit our website, aptnnews.ca. I'm Dennis Ward. Thanks for tuning in. We leave you tonight with some visuals of the red dresses hanging around a lake in the mountains of Alberta. Have a great night.